So I love watching you all embrace change because I have seen this congregation. In fact, the picnic was so exciting because I see you all embracing change, being willing to change. One of my dear friends, Daniel Stoner, a beloved member of this community, has been a greeter, an usher, been involved with the Wednesday service, a chaplain, and this man has embraced a huge change in his life. About a week and a half ago, Daniel had a stroke. A fitness instructor, 50 years old, he had a stroke. And he was, I'm sorry, I want you to be a 50-year-old. I've been corrected. 47, but that's gonna change. So 47-year-old fitness instructor, he had a stroke and he didn't have the use of one of his arms and one of his legs. And he was in the hospital last week and he did regain the use of his leg and he went back to the place of his work. He still has one arm that's not in full use yet, but we know that it will be. And he went back to his place of work, which is Village Shalom. He works with the senior population there as their fitness instructor. And he went back in his current state and was telling them about what was happening for him. But what Daniel recognized as he embraced this change was that he had so much more compassion for the people at this place that couldn't move and had disabilities. And he said that as he was in a fitness instructor there, his thought before this happened was, oh, you can do that, just try a little harder. And he recognizes with his arm not functioning right now that this has given him the gift of having compassion for these people. And in a week and a half, I heard him, he shared this yesterday. I just thought, you talk about being willing to see this differently. So thank you, Daniel, for being such a teacher in my life. Yeah, let's give him a hand now. And I would say, as much as Daniel has spent time here in this unity consciousness, that's what our gift is as we walk this life of knowing who we are, not waiting for the world to change, but being the change and being willing to see everything that happens to us as an opportunity for our soul to grow, to have more experience of being who you are. And then by doing that, you touch my heart so deeply. So willingness, willing to be with change, willingness to see things differently. The next part of this is awareness. Unless we're aware of what's steering our boat, we can end up on some foreign seas and not quite know how we got there. So this idea of waiting for the world to change and deciding to not be in that state of wait and use wait as an active word, we want to be aware of what we learned as either a young person in our culture, being a male, being a female. What keeps you in that wait state? What keeps you in the state of, I'm just going to wait until something changes? There's something you believe about yourself that isn't true if you're not an active participant in your life. And we need to be aware. We need to start to listen to what that voice is. That may be a process of journaling. That may be a process of meditating. Nothing like spending some time in the silence to start listening to those voices, right? But we can start to listen to the voice from where we came. And that's just as important. See, unity is not a place where we're into denial and pretending like we're okay. If you've been taught that you had to stay in one job and whether you like it or not, you're going to stay in it until you retire someday at 65, that may be something your family did, but that may not work for you in your state of awakening and awareness. I know as I looked at my parents and I had to look at the things that were telling, my story that wasn't true as I was moving into a state of awakening. My dad was sort of the main worker in our family, and my mother was taking care of the kids, and she has sort of had a part-time job. So when I even started thinking about ministry, I thought I'd be a minister's wife. Yeah, that really made sense to me. I'm going to be a minister's wife. Oh, that sounds like fun, and I'll just talk to my partner that's a minister, and that'll be so inspirational. And I went out with lots of ministers, and that didn't seem to happen the way I thought it was going to happen. Yeah, that's a whole nother talk. But anyway, what I finally recognized was, I'm called to be a minister. I'm called to live my life. I'm not waiting for something to change or waiting for some person to come into my life that then I can live my life. It's that I want this to happen. And I had to, recognize that my mom did what she wanted, and that was great for her. But that didn't fit for me. That wasn't what my world was about. And maybe someday I will be in partnership with the minister. But the idea is that I get to live my life in whatever way that is. And so, again, we don't wait for these things to happen. We acknowledge what it is that we're wanting. See, the idea is that we've sort of fallen asleep to who we are. That's mainly what's happened. And Rumi has a wonderful poem about this. The breeze at dawn has secrets to tell you. Don't go back to sleep. You must ask for what you really want. Don't go back to sleep. People are going back and forth across the door still, where the two worlds touch. The door is round and open. Don't go back to sleep. We need to wake up, be aware of what it is we want. We've learned a lot about what doesn't work and what we don't want, and we need to really let that go and stay in our awakened state of, I don't need to wait. This breath is the place that I want to live. This place of knowing who I am and knowing that I've always had everything I need. Always had everything I need, and to be awake to that. The other thing that we want to notice, and we do this a lot in the Keys class, is we start to talk about what people learned about money, about job, about life purpose, and we get people to start looking at their language, because your language will tell you a lot about what you believe. And I have many times I'll speak something and I go, oh, cancel. You can't really shove it back in. But you want it, that isn't really affirming what I want. Whether it's about people or about the world or about whatever it is. So we look at a couple of words that you want to maybe be aware of as you're in this state of awareness. One of those words is only. When you say, oh, I've only got this and I've only got that and I've only got so much in my bank account. But what the truth is I am a prosperous being. And the other word we want to look at is a 3-letter word, starts with B. As you know, you can go along saying something positive and true about yourself, and then you use this word and everything kind of falls off the cliff.